So we're going to have 5 quarterbacks potentially drafted. If you look at all these mock drafts, 5 in the first 10 picks. So I went back to 2010, over a decade. I always feel like a decade is a good round number. In a decade, if something keeps happening over and over, it's not a coincidence. So quarterbacks taken in the top 10 since 2010. There have been 23. Exactly 6 of those picks, the teams are truly happy. Now, I like Joe Burrow, but he's already hurt. The 6 teams that are overjoyed, Cam Newton got you to a Super Bowl and literally made Carolina fascinating. Andrew Luck, behind junk, got to an AFC championship. Patrick Mahomes has won a Super Bowl. Josh Allen's damn close and has turned around the fortunes of Buffalo. And I think Justin Herbert just shattered every rookie quarterback record behind the lowest graded offensive line on Pro Football Focus. That's essentially impossible. And then Kyler Murray is the 6th. I don't want to hear about... Other than that, 17 of the 23, you've had injuries, inconsistency, or immaturity have been a problem. That's a Baker. So that's the data. So today, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. We've got 5 guys going to go in the top 10. 1 is going to hit. Maybe 2. My hunch is Trevor Lawrence, who's a mega talent, who is in that Andrew Luck Cam mega talent. And the other one is Trey Lance, because I think he's going to San Francisco, and I think the Mac Jones stuff's a bluff with the Niners. But let's think about this for a second. So in the last 11 years, 6 guys, the team's like, boom. Of the 6, 4 are what you would call literally generational mega talents. The quarterbacks didn't even look like Cam. I mean, Cam, put him up again. I could argue 6 are generational talents, but Andrew Luck was the best quarterback since John Elway. Cam Newton literally carried a bad coaching staff at Auburn to a national title. They fired the coach 2 years later. Patrick Mahomes has already won a Super Bowl, best player in the league. Josh Allen, Mel Kiper had him as his 10th highest graded quarterback since Mel Kiper was on television. And then I'm not going to count Herbert or Kyler Murray as generational talents, but they're really gifted. And then the other, so 4 are all-time talents, which I think Trevor Lawrence, by the way, qualifies as. So that's why I think he hits. And then 2 of these guys got lucky. Mahomes and Josh Allen went to playoff teams. So the organization already had momentum. There are no stories, by the way, in the last 11 years of 4th best head coach in his division and dysfunctional organization lands Zach Wilson and he dominates the league, i.e. the Jets. That story does not exist. There are no success stories in the last 11 years. Unathletic quarterback goes to about-to-be-fired head coach Vic Fangio and crushes. That story does not exist. There are no stories. Inconsistent college quarterback goes to losing team and unproven head coach and rolls for 15 years. Carolina and Justin Fields. Those stories do not exist. There is one mega talent, generational talent in this draft. Trevor Lawrence. The only other guy, statistically, data-wise, that's going to work is the guy that goes to San Francisco, which is really a playoff roster with a head coach that works. That one's going to work. So whoever goes there, my guess is it's Trey Lance. That all this Mac Jones stuff is just fluff. It's nonsense. So you start looking around. Since 2010, 23 quarterbacks top 10. 2 big pro days today, Justin Fields and Mac Jones. Look at who works. Mostly you have to be a mega talent. I could argue, if you go back to it, the 6 that have worked, I could argue are uniquely gifted. I mean, Luck was the next Elway. Cam Newton was insane. Mahomes has the best arm in the last 20 years. Josh Allen, 6'6", huge arm. And oh, by the way, he's the best runner on the football team. Kyler Murray was drafted in baseball. It looks like the closest thing to Russell Wilson in my lifetime. And Justin Herbert literally shattered records, a 4-point biology major, took Oregon to a Rose Bowl, was the best player at the Senior Bowl, was the best player in the Rose Bowl. Again, 6'5", huge arm, can run, and shattered every rookie quarterback record behind the lowest graded O-line. I can argue the only 6 that have really been home runs are bizarrely gifted athletically. That's it. There are it's injuries, inconsistency, immaturity, overwhelmingly is what happens. So I'll say it again. I'm going to go with 2 guys. Trevor Lawrence, with an offensive coach. I think he fits into that all-time talent. And then I think Trey Lance, whoever goes to the Niners, and I don't have inside information, but my gut feeling is it's going to be Trey Lance, and he's going to hit. Mostly because he's got an offensive-minded coach. He can sit behind Garoppolo for a year, figure it out, then turn and hand it off for a year like Big Ben, and then by year 3, pops. By and large, I root for young people. I've hired young people, I root for them. And I think that's a general theme in America. We root for the next generation. We want young people to succeed, not just our own kids, but it's kind of cool to watch young, ambitious, driven men and women flourish. There is an exception, though, when young people think they're smarter than everybody else in the room. That was Josh McDaniels. He got hired by the Denver Broncos. And you're like, oh, Belichick lost his, whiz kid. But then he drafted Tim Tebow in the first round. And every scout I had said, Tebow's barely draftable. He's like a 5th-round guy. So Josh McDaniels went against scouts because Josh was suddenly, I'm the smartest guy in the room. Then people rooted against him. That's why people now are rooting against him when Brady leaves. It's Tom, not you. Watch out, Kyle Shanahan. My scouts are all saying the same thing on Mac Jones. He's not what wins in the NFL. An unathletic quarterback with no second reaction skills at all. If the play breaks down, it's over. Kyle Shanahan is not winning games. If he drafts Mac Jones, who half the scouts think is a 3rd-round talent, then you're like, all right, Kyle's not winning games, and he's really not a quarterback expert. Narratives flip very quickly in this league. Belichick's the greatest coach ever. How many people did you hear in the last year go, Brady carried him? Guy can't draft players. Bill's rigid. System over talent. Carson Wentz. Guy's unbelievable. Carson Wentz, lost. Bad locker room guy. There is a clear and inarguable hole in Mac Jones's game. He does not look like 2021 football. Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence all do. They run around. They've got arms. When the play breaks down, they have second reaction skills. Mac Jones doesn't. So what you're saying, if you take him 3rd, I'm the smartest guy in the room. Because scouts are look, there are some guys that think he's nowhere near a 1st-round pick. And again, I think whoever the Niners draft will succeed at some level. But if Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Justin Fields crush it somewhere, and you're sitting there with unathletic guy as the league gets more and more and more athletic at quarterback. I mean, Justin Fields last year had the lowest graded, Justin Herbert, lowest graded offensive line in the NFL. Broke every record. That is the NFL. Mac Jones would have been devoured last year with the Chargers. Now, maybe he goes to San Francisco, the good offensive line, and he wins. But right now, Kyle Shanahan is 29-35. Okay? He's won more than 6 games one time in 4 years. Okay, so the narratives in this league flip very quickly. Belichick, 20 years, dominates, crushes people. 10 games in, we're like, guy can't draft. Jurassic, the offense is brutal. Cam Newton, what? Just be very careful, because when you look at Mac Jones, there's just a hole that even people who like Mac Jones are like, yeah, that's not great. I look at it, and then all of a sudden, if Mac Jones, you draft him and he doesn't look great, now it's like you don't win, you really don't know quarterbacks, and you've blown 2 leads in Super Bowls. There are teams will just cross you off a list. They'll cross you off a list. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.